Hello everyone, and welcome to, well, for one, a major correction that I would like to do on the other stream that I did last week, which is that I made a very fatal mistake with last month's Dry Gulch Memories stream. Hey Jack, you're probably wondering, well, what was that fatal error? It's actually been 19 there, right? 20. That first one in 2005, not '04. So, yeah. This stream is actually factual, though. To be more specific, but I got really busy with stuff over the week, so I figured, hey, why not? We have a train rolling by. Well, the same train I remember, that's for sure. Yeah, so you're probably wondering, well, why did I choose this date? And what am I doing in this stream? So, in the first stream that I did for, Dry Gulch, which, you know, turned out to be kind of false in the sense that I mistakenly thought it was for, 2004 that I won, but, basically it is of my understanding that I miscounted how many times I went, and I have a funny little backstory behind that, but the reason why I'm choosing today, the 13th, is that I went to summer camp on the 9th of July in 2009. Came back the 13th. I think you can tell why I chose this day specifically, as it marks my return back home. But first, let me tell you a story about how I, for the longest time, kept miscounting how many times I went. How so? Well, let me rewind the clock back to 2005, my actual first time visiting. Need I say more? Yeah. It wouldn't have been possible for me to go 6 times in the span of 2005, '06, '07, '08, and '09. What happened was, I think it was like a year after I went the last time, I was at my church, and I was talking to a member of the church. Like, it was a staff member, and I told them about how I wanted to be like a junior counselor there or something. Because I read on the website for Dry Gulch, which is now no longer up. Um, I mentioned that to her, and she's like, "Well, maybe we could take you with us, and you'll be able to do that." And it's because of that that I mistakenly thought, "Oh yeah, I'll be able to go 6 times." And because of that, my brain mistakenly thought that I did go 6 times. I went 5. Oops. Anyway, so you're probably wondering, well, what did I do for the first one? Yeah. Team really likes picking a bad time to uh, uh, I like how I'm trying to be peaceful here, and now the game's just like, oh hey, there's a robbery. Anyway, um, I'll get back to the subject at hand, like after I get done here. But key thing to note, I will not be changing the name of the stream that I did last month, because I just don't want to. Like, yeah, I'm technically incorrect in the name because it's 19 years in the making, not 20. But whatever. Anyway, so you're probably wondering, well, what did I do for the stream that celebrated 19 years of going to Dry Gulch? You know, I mean, like my first ever video. What I did was I drove from, it was actually a cemetery, Los Santos, and I drove all the way out here to Blaine County, which would represent Dry Gulch. What I'm doing this time is I'm doing the reverse, where I'm driving back because it would represent me going back home for the last time from summer camp. And the outfit that I chose there was a representation of the shirt that they were giving from the church, the summer camp, as a really cool little souvenir. I think you could buy the shirt, but otherwise they would give it to you on the day that you go home. It was pretty cool. But yeah, there's some burglars. Yeah. So case in point, um, I'm very sorry for the slightly misleading information from the last stream. It's just that at the time I didn't realize that I was wrong. And it wasn't until I talked to my Capball and he mentioned, no, you didn't go in 2004, because the whole backstory behind that is that technically in 2004 I was old enough to go. It's just that by the time I turned 7, the deadline to sign up for camp had already passed. So I wasn't able to go that year. And so because of that, what I think it was is not only was it that junior counselor thing, it was just that I was remembering the age range that they would allow campers to go to camp, which was 7 to 12. And because of that, I kept thinking that I went when I was 7, but that was actually not the case. So, yeah. In other words, I'm kind of an idiot. But that's okay, because we learn from our mistakes. But anyway, that being said, yeah. So here we are 15 years later after my last ever visit in 2009. Or rather, 15 years since my day of coming back home. Again, just to reiterate, I chose this day specifically because it would be like 15 years ago I came back home. So why not represent that? It was like the first stream that I did, which again, technically incorrect because it was 19 years ago. And yeah, so that stream was traveling to Sandy Shores in Blaine County, which represented me going to camp. This stream represents me going back home, and it is pretty symbolic in a sense, because, you know, you have... Oh, do these people not read stop signs? Shut up. Seriously, like, NPCs, am I right? Like, they don't stop at the stop sign, they just roll through. I actually stopped. But, you know, even then, you know, getting back on topic. Yeah, so this whole stream being just me traveling back to that cemetery church place, it's a representation of my last ever trip back home from Oklahoma. So, what can I say about 2000? Well, seeing as how it's a little bit fresher in my mind because it was 15 years ago, I was a 12-year-old. Yeah, because for reference, right now I'm 27, and this was 15 years ago, so I was 12. So, you know, case in point, there we go. Okay. Anyway, so, what can I say? Well, for starters, the go-karts on both tracks were the Eagles that I talked about in the previous stream, how in the later years when I went, they replaced the old go-karts with the Eagle go-karts, which, if you want to find out what I'm talking about, just simply go on Google and search up Eagle go-kart, and you'll be able to see it. There's different colored variations, but the ones that we had were the red ones were the single seaters and the blue ones were the double seaters. Although I think you can choose blue seater, it's just that they wanted to differentiate the two. Because, um, body wise, the vehicles look pretty similar. It's just that one of them was a different color to show, hey, it's a different model. But aside from that, they had bumper cars. They had a carousel, which I think they first added in 2008, I believe. Um, yeah. Speaking of, I hear you probably thinking. I hear you wondering, like, why didn't you do a stream last year for 15 years since your 2008 visit? Yeah, that was my penultimate visit, but it wasn't really that noteworthy. I think it's just because of the fact that it was a shorter visit, because it was like 4 days instead of five, so it didn't really feel that long. But 2009, you know, like it makes sense for the streams that did being like my first ever visit and my last ever visit, even though the last stream that I did was incorrect for the stream. It's actually been 19 years, not 20. But I will do something in the future to rectify that. Just don't ask. I'll do something. Anyway, here we are. Back in Los Santos. Represents my home state of Texas. Albeit a lot more Californian. But yeah, so what else happened? Well, aside from me knowing that it was my last ever visit, nothing much really. I mean, aside from the fact that since I was kind of a misbehaved kid, like on my last night there, I was torched from something really fun that I wanted to do, but again, I was a little kid that didn't know much better. So, yeah, yeah. Let's just say nowadays I'm a way better individual, like tenfold. But yeah, so in other words, let's just say that it's just I think the highlight for my last ever visit would actually happen to be the theme song, the one that I talked about the last stream, which was just called "Is This My Superhero" or something. I don't remember what the song was called exactly, but it was something along those lines. Wow, just hit a sign. Um, and for whatever reason, like hearing that song, yeah, I loved it, but it made me sad hearing that because of the fact that, again, I knew full well that that was my last ever visit to that camp. But, yeah. But the one thing I will never forget is the one thing that I told the staff members before we left the camp on the morning that we left. I literally just said, see y'all next time. And the thing is, that's more like a habitual thing, like you're used to saying that to people that you plan on seeing again or hope to see again. But I knew deep down in my mind that that wouldn't be the case. So, as we reach the church, yeah, I want to leave you off with this. because since now I know it's been 5 whole visits there, if you ask me that I know, you'll know that it's not new, because everything has been paid in full, because you've got him on your journey, and that he is your superhero. That right there is all 5 of the theme songs I heard from summer camp from 2005 to 2009. In the order of Ask Me, I Know, It's Not New, Paid in Full, Jesus on My Journey, and Jesus, My Hero. A few of those songs, I believe it was Ask Me, I Know, It's Not New, and Paid in Full. And I think maybe even the fourth song I mentioned, they were all sung by Yancy, not Nancy. I think that's what her name is. She still does stuff to this day for ministry and whatnot, but yeah, I don't know if the 2008 theme song was by her or if it was just like another group. But the last song I ever listened to there, that was definitely not my ENC. But anyway, that being said, thank you very much for watching. I know the stream was a little bit shorter than the other stream, but I'm more than okay with that because, it was just more so just a quick stream, plus I had to go somewhere in a while. Uh, but with that being said, again, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. And, yeah, so, catch y'all later.